In a stunning move, former Vice President Kamala Harris is set to lose her Secret Service protection on September 1st after President Donald Trump revoked an executive memorandum signed by Joe Biden that had extended her security detail. The announcement sent shockwaves through Washington, as it is highly unusual for a recent vice president to be left without extended protection. A spokesperson confirmed no official reason was given, sparking speculation over the political motives behind Trump's decision. The timing could not be more dramatic. Harris is just weeks away from launching her 15-city book tour for her new memoir, 107 Days. Without Secret Service agents at her side, serious questions now hang over her safety as she prepares to appear before large crowds nationwide. Harris's team released a measured statement, thanking the Secret Service for their service, but offered no details about how they plan to secure her moving forward. Behind the scenes, insiders are warning that the abrupt move places her at heightened risk, particularly given her continued visibility as one of the most recognizable figures in American politics.
If you guys love Donald Trump, smash the heart. Breaking news, Donald Trump just revoked Kamala Harris's Secret Service detail. She had it for the first 6 months as Donald Trump took office. Joe Biden signed for her to have an extension for an additional year. Trump said no, because of the fact that everybody could afford their own security. Like Trump said, he'll buy his own, he'll have his own. He don't need the government's money. He has enough of his own. So, how do you guys feel about this?
President Trump has revoked Secret Service protection for former Vice President Kamala Harris.
Today, Find the Dot family, we are looking at the decision that has sparked major debate, the removal of former Vice President Kamala Harris' security details. What makes this even more important is that President Joe Biden signed an extension into law before leaving office. Yet now, President Donald Trump has moved to remove it. Credits go to the creator and original stitches of this video that brought this conversation to spotlight. Grab your coffee and relax. I'll be back for more commentary.
All right, so President Trump revokes former Vice President Kamala Harris's Secret Service detail. And I guess MSNBC is mad about it. Who knows? But they only get 6 months, and it's been 7. So let's find out what's going on here.
President Trump
make sure you like the video right here. Follow for more. You know, do all the things.
Has revoked Secret Service protection for former Vice President Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
A senior White House official tells NBC News the vice president typically only gets 6 months of protection after leaving office.
Oh, well, there you go.
But a Secret Service official says President Biden had signed an executive memorandum in January to extend protections for Harris to 18 months. It's only been about 7 months since Harris left office. A senior advisor
Biden is not the president.
to Harris issued this statement in response to the
And a lot of people think he wasn't back then either.
Vice President is grateful to the United States Secret Service for their professionalism, dedication, and unwavering commitment to safety. This is not the first time that Mr. Trump has ended Secret Service protections for someone. Former National Security Advisor John Bolton had his security detail terminated just hours after Trump returned to the White House in January. Bolton served in Trump's first administration, and his home and his offices were searched by the FBI earlier this week. Protections were also...
That's what happens when you break the law. Well, allegedly. Who knows? We'll find out. Oh, the lady's phone's ringing.
My phone going off. I apologize. Protections were also revoked for Mr. Trump's former Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, and a former top aide, Brian Hook. Then in March, Trump ended Secret Service protections for President Biden's adult children, Hunter and Ashley. What does it all mean? Let's bring in Washington Bureau Chief at USA Today, Susan Page, and MSNBC senior Washington correspondent and co-host of The Weekend, Eugene Daniels. Susan, quickly, I mean, this news is just coming into us. But what's the legality of this? If President Biden...
What's the legality of it? Trump's the president, and he can just make the call.
Had extended the protection.
Where he's getting fired and whatnot.
And Trump overturns President Biden's offer? Is this just like an executive order that a president can overrule and so he can go ahead with this? And what do you think it means?
Absolutely. It's up to the president. It was up to Biden to extend it. It's up to Trump to decide that's not what he wants to do. That's why you want to pass laws instead of just signed executive orders, because they have more staying power. You know, in a way, it's not surprising. Traditionally, vice presidents get 6 months of protection after they leave office. On the other hand, we live in a very violent time. We know that every day. With reports of violence like we see in Minneapolis now. And it comes at a really awkward time for Kamala Harris, whose book is coming out in days, and a big book tour is planned. And now the security arrangements I'm sure she was counting on for that tour have just been taken away. And by the way, I've been trying to get an interview with her about a new book. So if she was...
I don't think anybody's going to show up to that anyway, so there's really nothing to be prepared for. I mean, there could be like 6 people there.
If she's watching,
listening, yes,
okay.
I'm anyway. But I do think
message out from Susan.
I don't think it's an outrage. It's not unprecedented. It's not one of those kinds of things. It does create some complications, I think, for the former vice president.
Eugene, why did President Biden
She created enough complications for the American people and herself.
feel that there was a need to
Deal with the security for your little book tour.
extend it? Was it because of what Susan is talking about, that we live in this time of unprecedented animosity towards not just people but politicians, as we also saw up in Minneapolis a few months ago?
Before I got here, I was on the phone with a bunch of former Biden and former Harris officials and current Harris senior advisors. And, the sense was at the time in the administration was, look, at the end of the day, this is a black woman in America. We've seen the death threats and the kinds of things that have come her way from the Secret Service has been working on for years. So they wanted to extend it. It would have ended next year, next summer. And I was talking to a few of the aides, and all of them said the same word to me, which is, this is predictable, right? Were they prepared for it, as Susan's saying, with her book tour coming up? No, because the Secret Service works for weeks on these things. The security apparatus is planned for a very...
Are we supposed to feel sorry for Kamala Harris? Oh my God.
Very long time. So they weren't prepared for it. But it's also a piece of how Donald Trump works, right? Because
within the bounds of the law and what he's allowed to do,
it is retributive, right? It's not just,
he gave her an extra month. They only get 6 months and he gave her 7. Man, these people don't listen. They don't think about what they say.
Want to save money on the Secret Service, or, this is weird. They do it because, some of the Harris folks said because of distractions from all of the things that are swirling around. And 2, just because he doesn't like Vice President Kamala Harris. At the end of the day, that is what I heard over and over and over again. And
yeah, but not from him, from the random crazy people that you talk to that have no idea what they're talking about.
It speaks to how Donald Trump operates. He used the government to deal with his own personal animosity with people.
Are y'all insane? The hypocrisy is nuts. You're trying to say that President Trump is using the fact that the vice president gets 6 months of Secret Service after they leave office and she got 7. You're trying to say that is somehow him using the government as retribution? Not taking into account everything that they threw at Trump. They used every bit of government, every 3-letter agency. They threw everything at him. Everything at him. But somehow him just extending it an extra month, actually doing her a favor and extending it an extra month, and then ending it a month after what is traditional, is retribution? Do these people even listen to themselves talk?
And then, of course, we saw the FBI raiding John Bolton's house.
That's what happens when you are alleged to break the law.
We have no idea whether one thing leads to another thing, but...
And that's, of course, much more serious. Because that is the use of the judicial system, perhaps, against someone who has been critical of him. I mean, that is when you talk about the thing with Kamala Harris, not unprecedented. The thing with John Bolton, that's pretty unprecedented.
As we close this discussion, let's pause to think carefully. The security protection for past leaders are not just about one person or one party. They are about safety, continuity, and the trust that we Americans place in the institution. When President Joe Biden signed that extension before leaving office, the message was clear. Former Vice President Kamala should continue to receive this protection. Now, with President Donald Trump's decision to remove it, we are seeing a shift that raises many questions. For some, this is the simplest matter of new leadership making different choices. For others, it feels like a break from precedent and raises concern about safety, fairness, and even political motivation. This moment tests how we as a nation handle transitions of power and how we treat those who have served at the highest level of government. Here is another thing to consider. Should former US leaders who often have financial means be responsible for providing their own security? Or it is the responsibility of the government to ensure their safety? No matter the cost, the question goes beyond politics and touches on fairness, public trust, and national value. We give credit to the originator and stitches of this story because without them, we won't be able to exploit this deep issue together. So find the dot family. Here is critical thought to take away. Should the protection of former leader be tied to law and precedent? Or should it be left to the discretion of whosoever hold office? And what message does this send when an extension signed into law is later reversed? Finally, should former leaders pay for their own security since they can avoid it? Or it is a duty of government to protect them regardless? I would love to hear your view. Drop them in comments, ask the hard question, and let's open the floor for respect discussion. Remember to like, subscribe, share, because here at Find the Dot, we don't just watch the news, we connect the dots that matter. Thanks.